Hi everybody and welcome to this Cats Protection Facebook Live. Today we'll be looking at behaviour and I'm sure like many of you that may be working at home at the moment, you have your cat rubbing on your laptop, a bit like I do now. So we are joined by the very gorgeous Kato off of Cats Protection YouTube fame, so do check out some of his work. Sadly Beryl won't be joining us, she's asleep. Well, aren't we surprised? I'm here to answer some of your questions today regarding cat behaviour, and I shall do my very best. In the meantime, whilst I'm waiting for some questions to come in, then we will start off by just having a little bit of a chat about what the COVID-19 situation has meant for our cats at home. So, obviously cats are amazing and they have been really helpful in this very stressful time in helping to relieve our own stress. They are, very relaxing, and it's very tempting to spend all day just stroking them. But of course, that's why we're here to chat about cat and behaviour today. So as much as they've been brilliant for us, let's give them a helping paw and see what we can do for them to help reduce their stress. So first and foremost, I think many of us have found the change of routine stressful for us, but cats are really governed by routine and predictability and consistency, and so therefore us staying at home all day every day is really stressful for many cats. There will be a minority that'll absolutely love it, but for a lot of cats, just having us home all day when they expected us to be off out is not only confusing for them, but it completely changes what they had planned for the day. In addition, many households will now be very noisy, so particularly for those that have got children, other pets in the home, potentially dogs that may not be getting out and about as much as they'd normally like. And so this can be quite unsettling for them. They've got no idea why this is happening, whether this is the new norm. Oh, that's my cat moving the screen. And so, yeah, it's really unsettling time for them, and that's why we need to think back to what is your cat's normal routine and trying to incorporate that into your day as best possible. So sticking to their normal food times, for example, particular times that they'd normally get interaction, and most importantly, thinking about those times where they'd normally have a rest, which, let's face it, for cats is a good 16 hours a day. So it's really important to set up like a little cat haven within your home. Somewhere that's nice and quiet and has all of the cat's really important resources in there. So you want something in there like their food bowls, a separate water bowl, and they should be positioned away from each other, because those of you who've been following our stuff on Cats Protection now will know that cats like to have their food bowl away from their water bowl. In addition, they like to have all their resources away from a litter tray. It is important to provide cats with a litter tray even if they're used to going outside, just because it always gives them that option. Cats may not want to toilet outside, for example, if they're getting terrorised by a neighbourhood cat, should the glorious weather we've had lately have a downturn, anything that can spook them. So it's nice to have that option even if they then don't use it. It's also important they have a bed. It doesn't need to be a bed that that you've paid for. It could just be like a nice blanket or an old towel or something, as well as having like cat-safe toys that they can play with by themselves, places that they can get up high, places they can hide, so the fabulous cardboard box, which is always really useful, and obviously the Cats Protection Hide and Sleep is also really useful too. Okay, let's have a quick look at some questions, because we've had a few coming in already. My cat hates the computer and walks off as soon as I get it out. Yes. I mean, most cats it's the opposite, because they're like, okay, and they sort of sat down and they sort of, rub on the edges of it or walk across our keyboards. But I'd say for your cat, particularly if you're spending a lot of time on your keyboard, just factoring in structured play sessions throughout the day so your cat knows when they're going to get interaction, particularly because the keyboard and the laptop will probably signal that they're not going to get attention. Okay, let's have a little look. So we've got someone saying that they got a rescue cat and she's sleeping in their bedroom. She seems to be waking up at 5 a.m. most morning. Yes, many people will feel your pain, especially where it's getting lighter and lighter each morning. And pouncing on our feet and knees. It's mainly this person. How can we discourage this? We play with her loads, brilliant, throughout the day, and have tried shutting her out, but she just cries and paws at the door all night. Like I say, many owners are in this situation at the moment, and it is really difficult. They are naturally crepuscular, which is a posh way of saying that they are active during dawn and dusk, and that's because that's when the prey species are most active. So it is a normal cat behaviour, unfortunately. Now, what we can do about this is, it's great that you've been playing with her loads, brilliant, you can keep that up. In particular, have structured sessions throughout the day, as I mentioned to the previous person, and have a good session in the evening, not next to bedtime because we don't want them really riled up before bed, but a sort of a late evening session so they can wear themselves out first. And then you can get sort of nighttime style toys out there. So that the ones I'm thinking of, you might want to look online, are like there's these little balls that are quite quiet. So when the cat's batting them around, it should be quite quiet. And they also glow in the dark, which is great because as much as cats can see in low light levels, they can't actually see in pitch black. So some glow in the dark balls would be great. And then anything like that it's safe for the cat. Doesn't need to be supervised, but will keep them occupied. Other things you can do is having puzzle feeders at night. So here's one I prepared earlier. This is really basic. You can look in your recycling box for any manner of things that could be used for food. So this is like, cat enrichment level 1, where it's you put the biscuits in these sort of sections here. When introducing enrichment, so enrichment just means giving your cat food in a way that's not just their normal bowl. Then you can put them in things like this and do show them how to use it. So by which I mean literally sit down with your cat and put some biscuits in and then pour them out in front of your cat for like 2 minutes and then sit back and let them have a go. Do this sort of thing during the day, and then you can actually leave some of these things out around the house, probably away from your bedroom, and so they can access food at night. It's really good because it helps them get a bit more independent, so they're less likely to bug you about getting food, and it provides excellent mental stimulation as well. The other key thing to do is just trying to ignore your cat, which is really, really hard. The problem is that if you were to, if you give in and you play with them at night or feed them at night yourself, it reinforces the behaviour, so that they're much more likely to do it again next time because it worked. So trying to feign sleep, which I've done, and it's, again, even just trying to get the right breathing pattern can be difficult, because my cat seems to know. Right. So next person saying that they normally work 3 nights a week and sleep a lot. Cat is absolutely loving the new arrangement. Yes, so as I said before, some cats will be loving the fact that we're at home a little bit more and really enjoying it. Which is great, and it's nice to have those extra cuddles, particularly initiated by the cat. The one thing I'd say as a slight proviso is making sure that our cats are going to cope when all of this is over and our usual routines go back to normal, and we're sort of leaving our cats again. So lap it up, I think, for the time being, and then gradually wean your cat off your attention, introduce things like the feeding enrichment so that they can be a bit more independent, and set up some self-directed toys to play with as well. Holly just says hi. Hi, Holly. Oh, who's the gorgeous cat in the background? I don't know if he spotted my cat, but that is Kato, and he is amazing. I'm not going to lie. I know, just like all of you, I have the best cat in the world. So, why does someone's ragdoll keep meowing for food all the time? This is not just a ragdoll thing, this is just a cat thing. So particularly where we're home a lot more now, some cats are using this as an excuse to try and get our attention. Now, first and foremost, I must say, if this is a very recent change in behaviour, particularly if it doesn't coincide with the lockdown, then do speak to your vet first in case it's the onset of a medical problem. Now, I must stress you shouldn't go down to your vet practice because we are doing social distancing. It's it's very important to call them first and take their advice on what they want to do, and they can advise from there. But if you're happy that it's nothing medical, your vet's happy, then in terms of keeping meowing for food, cats are very often fed by all of us twice a day because, that's what we've always done. However, cats actually much prefer to eat multiple times a day and lots of little small meals. So you want to work out your cat's daily allowance of food, what they'd have over 24 hours, and then split this out into lots of small little meals throughout the day. Just an idea for another enrichment idea. It's an egg box, so this is probably like slightly step up from this one. Again, you put the dry food in these bits. If your cat is not particularly bright, then you can put the biscuits in this section here, because it's basically a bowl, and then show your cat how to use it and take it from there. Again, for a cat that's meowing to their owner for food and being quite insistent, feeding enrichment is great for allowing the cats to get things for themselves and not having to rely on us for these things. Someone's cats are feeling very unsettled and fighting more. Really sorry to hear this, and again, you won't be alone. There'll be other cats that will be struggling at this sort of time. It depends, one, how much their routine has changed and whether you can incorporate parts of their normal routine back into your day. Also, I don't know how many cats you have, but we want to be thinking about making sure they've got enough resources per cat. So the golden rule is one resource, and a resource is, like I said, food bowl, water bowl, scratch posts, beds, all of that sort of thing. So it's one per cat plus one extra as a spare, and you want to space these out all around your house. This is because cats, they don't really like to share, and it's really good if they can, if there's any underlying tensions, making sure they can get everything that they need without having to go past another cat can really help to reduce those tensions and that stress. So I think certainly some of the pet shops, I think, may be open, or certainly they're open online. So if you are lacking a few resources, then you can always, go and top up with a few extra bits and pieces just to make sure your cats have everything they need. The other thing to consider is watching where your cats normally hang out during the day. Some cats, and this is very common too, might have one cat likes to be upstairs, the other cat likes to be downstairs, and have their own little separate territories within the house. So if you're feeding them in the kitchen, which is really common, and expecting both cats to eat together, this can be a really common source of stress. So if you've got an upstairs cat, I would recommend placing a feeding and separate water station and everything else upstairs, so that your cat doesn't have to come downstairs and come into conflict with the other cat. Certainly if the fighting's really bad, obviously do contact your vet, obviously by phone, do not go into the vet practice. And also you may wish to get a referral to a qualified behaviourist, so you can look at the Animal Behaviour and Training Council website, where they list out qualified behaviourists, and they work on veterinary referral. Okay. Do we have any kittens for adoption in the Gloucestershire area? So currently, unfortunately, because of the situation, homing has had to be put on hold at the moment, but we still have about sort of 4,000 plus cats across all of the UK being cared for by our wonderful staff and volunteers. So a big shout out to them, because they have been absolutely amazing at this time. And they're still giving the cats all the care and food and obviously enrichment and everything else that the cats need. So what I recommend you do is go on the Cats Protection website, and we will put the links in the comments. And if you type into the Find Us section, you can find your nearest branches and adoption centres. And from there, if you go onto their website, you'll be able to look at some of the cats that are available once all of this is over. So the cats that are ready for homing once we start homing again. But very excited that you're looking for some cats to adopt, and thank you for thinking of us at Cats Protection. Okay. Another person saying their cat's loving being at home with them. That's really sweet. I'm worried my cat, she's only 2 years old, and all she does is sleep, and she looks depressed. What do I do to cheer her up? So, cats first of all can get depression, and they can, they can feel overwhelmingly, find it difficult in these situations. So, however, equally, cats do sleep about 16 hours a day. So it's one of those things about whether she has always done this sort of thing and how she responds when she's actually awake. So, for example, if she's still interested in eating, if she's still interested in playing, interacting with you, maybe she looks out the window at the birds, great. She's probably a cat that just likes her sleep. But if she's not interested in these things where she used to be, then it could be a sign of depression. As with all things, you would want to chat over these any signs of, or symptoms or changes in your cat's behaviour with your vet first, and take their advice. But in terms of cheering your cat up, it's just about the finer things in life, really. So splitting those meals up, because meal times are great. So let's have lots of them, but with small amounts of food, so cat doesn't gain unnecessary weight. Playing with your cat. Oh, my cat is lying on the fishing rod toy. Let's see what some of the other things I can get. Oh, right. He is trying to. Let me just see if you can see this. Spare the mess. Yeah. He's currently playing. So some toys like this one, which is a kickaroo, is lots of fun for the cat to play with. Oh, okay. See if I can get him on screen without wrecking everything. Can't get my camera right. Ooh, where is he? There he is. Let's see if I can get on here. Yay! This is Kato! And this is him playing with a kickaroo. He loves it, as you can see. It does have catnip in it. Now, not every cat responds to catnip. It's about 50 to 70% that do, so not all of them do. And this one's really good because it's really useful for sort of bunny kicking, where they sort of kick with their back legs and anything else. And if you've got a cat tree, like you see here, they are great stage, if you like, for toys and play. Another one, he's jumped off my fishing rod toy, is the humble fishing rod toy. Now, it's not going to get it in shot because it's got such a long rod, but I shall try and demonstrate. So you want a really long rod. Now, this is particularly useful if you're getting kids involved as well, because then the children are very away from like the business end of the catnip toy and the fishing rod toy, and then you can wave it around like this. And if you can do it in such a way that how prey would respond, so you want it ideally moving away from the cat, but you know your cat and you know the sorts of games that they enjoy. So he likes it just showing a little bit, and then you can see the paw coming out like this. And with interactive play, it only needs to be a few minutes, a couple of times a day. If your cat likes more and you've got time, great. But even if you've got a very busy schedule with homeschooling children, for example, and working full time, just having a little break, it's a good stress reliever for us, and it's an excellent stress reliever for our cats as well. I shall leave him there with that. The most important thing is to make sure that they can catch and kill the toy. So for any of you that might have like a laser pen at home, for example, they are a mixed bag because they can cause frustration if they don't have anything they can catch and kill at the end. So if you are using them, make sure you have something physical like this that you can land the red dot on and so the cat can catch this. I'm just going to chuck that in there for you. Okay. But yes, lots of fun, lots of interactive play, and it doesn't matter how old your cat is, any cat can play. You just need to modify it depending on their ability, both mentally and also physically as well, because older cats, they might have issues with, say, getting a bit stiffer and stuff like that, so maybe it's nothing that's too active. Okay. Yeah, more people saying that their cat's enjoying being at home with them. We've got Eddie, the cat protection cat. Great to have a cat protection cat, and he's loving it as well. Smudge enjoying being at home with the owners in the garden. Right, okay, this is a really important question. So somebody's asked that they've got 2 rescue cats and one of them really wants to go outside every day. I've heard that they could catch COVID-19 and I really don't want to let her out, but she looks so fed up. If you go to our website, we have got all the latest information, which has been vet approved and is in line with the government's advice, as well as all the various health organisations and veterinary profession too. But just to sort of quickly answer this question, where we're currently at the moment, the advice is that if you are healthy yourself and you're not showing symptoms and you're not vulnerable or at risk from coronavirus in any way, then it is okay for your cat to go outside, and we just recommend using sensible hand washing precautions like the government had advised. So carefully washing your hands for at least 20 seconds with hot water and soap, and you want to do that before and after stroking your cat, and particularly when they come back in from outside. It's also important to make sure that you don't stroke other people's pets, so cats, dogs, any other animals that you may see out and about if you're leaving the house for exercise. So don't worry at this point in time too much. Follow the advice that's up there, and we're keeping our website up to date, so keep an eye on that. But yes, if you've got a cat that's really used to going out, it will be very stressful for them to be kept indoors, particularly if they're not at high risk. Currently, there's no evidence that we'll be catching coronavirus from our cats. Okay, just scrolling through a few more of your comments. Oh, bear with. Okay. Okay, let's have a little look. Trying to move the mouse. So someone's saying they've got 2 cats and an equal amount of food, wet food given twice daily, and dry food left out all day. One always seems to be hungry. Is there any reason for this, or is she just greedy? Now again, this depends on whether it's a recent change or whether they have been getting gradually more hungrier over time. But I'd certainly always recommend anyway having a chat on the phone to your vet. They know your cat's medical history and can advise from there, because there are medical conditions that can cause cats to become more hungry. So for example, if they had hypothyroidism, that's just one example, but there are many, so like I say, this is one to chat to your vet about. And then equally, if the vet says there's no medical issue, they're confident that it could be potentially behavioural, then there are different things that you can try. So one would be splitting out their meals into multiple little meals out throughout the day, because this is how they would naturally like to eat. Doing some feeding enrichment, which I've mentioned, but again, it's another excuse to show you another one. So some of the commercial-based stuff now, you can get things like puzzle balls. I find that this is what owners often start off with, but it's actually more difficult for the cats to use compared to, say, the egg box. So by all means, do use the puzzle balls, but use it later on in their kind of enrichment education, so they know what they're doing. And then other ones that are quite useful are something like this, where you just put some of the biscuits on top here and scatter them, and then the cat has to use their paw to pick out the biscuits. This will help for a cat if they're particularly greedy, and particularly those that maybe really wolf down their food and maybe regurgitate it back up, or just bored because they've eaten in 2 minutes flat. This really helps to slow down the eating process, helps them to use their brain, use their paws, and really think about what they're doing. So they're kind of hunting for their food, if you like, which is really good. So yeah, have a look at our website, because we have got lots of ideas, and we've also got various videos on feeding enrichment and interactive play as well. So look at those, which are great. So just having a little look. More people saying that their cat's enjoying them being at home. Oh, where's Kato going? Hey boy! See, this is one of the perks, isn't it, from being at home with your cat, and that he gets to bust in on my Facebook Lives. Someone's saying their cat's bringing home mice alive and playing with them. Oh, so many of us are, again, in this situation, and it's not to most of our taste. But unfortunately, it is a natural cat behaviour. That's what they've evolved to do. They haven't really changed much over thousands of years. So it's very much an ingrained instinct for them. What you can do is you can try and redirect their hunting behaviour towards something like a fishing rod toy. For a cat that likes to kill mice and catch mice, then I'd recommend playing with it with like the feathers across the floor and acting like a mouse, basically. So have the toy hiding behind furniture and then dashing out across the room to hide behind some other furniture, which is what you'll be familiar with, what mice is probably doing at home. Oh, there he goes. Just because this can help give them an outlet for that behaviour. Now, it's not going to stop it, but it may potentially reduce the amount that they're hunting. And then just a tried and tested mouse catching technique that I've had to discover at home. Wellington boots are really useful to catch mice. Because they form that sort of a safe dark tunnel, and then they tend to sort of go into them, and then you can tip them outside carefully. Okay. Right, someone's saying indoor cat is being her usual self. She's got this social distancing and self-isolation down. Yeah, lots of cats have done social distancing for thousands of years, so we can take a leaf out of their book for sure. Particularly with the sleeping and making life look really relaxed when they settle down for one of their many naps a day. Right. Oh gosh, someone else's cat is hunting rats. Rats, I have to say, are a lot more specialist compared to someone else's cat's catching voles and mice and things. Because rats are quite formidable, as are squirrels. And so it's not common for them to hunt them, but certainly they can do. Okay. Yeah, and also size does not come into it, because it's saying the cat's only little and she's hunting rats. It's just because she's a pretty fearsome predator. How can you stop it? As I mentioned before, trying to reduce this by giving them an alternative outlet for their behaviour using fishing rod toy. Terry says hello from Aylesbury. Hello. From Popcorn and Toffee. So hello, Popcorn and Toffee. Oh, if you can hear that, that's my cat trashing the place. I know what he's got. Right, bear with, he's just found the Dreamies. Oh well, at least you know that this is live. Okay. Right. Any tips for introducing 2 new kittens to 3 adult cats? Any tips for making it work well? Now, first and foremost, it depends whether you already have got these kittens, because if it's something you're thinking about, I would say hold off until lockdown and everything is over, and when Cats Protection's homing again. If you have already got your 2 new kittens, then first and foremost, do check out our video that we have on our YouTube channel, because we have gotten information about introducing cats to other cats, and that will apply to kittens as well. Just with the kittens, you just want to be just a little bit extra cautious because they are a little bit smaller. But just to briefly run over some of the information, first and foremost, the kittens should be in a separate room away from your existing cats. Ideally in a room that the other 3 cats aren't using on a common, regular basis. Make sure that room's set up with everything that those kittens absolutely need. So they've got beds, hiding places they can get up high that's accessible to them, scratch posts, food bowls, water bowls, etc. If you go onto our website, we've actually got a free behaviour sort of course, online course, where it's called Understanding Cats' Needs, and we've got a house plan section on there, and that will help you look at where you need to place all the resources in the room. So if you need any advice, go for it. And then when it comes to actually introducing it, as slowly as possible is always the advice. Many people rush through it. It's exciting having new cats or kittens, and even if it's going well, people then get tempted to keep going. So first and foremost, I'd always say that it's important to do the scent swapping stage the longest. This is the one that people either miss or skip through it quite quickly, and it's really, really important. So you want to get a clean cloth. No, this is not a cloth, but I'm going to improvise with this. And you want to rub it on the cat's cheek very gently, particularly you've got to be careful if they're nervous at all. You might want to just use a blanket they've been lying on if they are. The kittens should hopefully be okay. And then do that per cat, so 3 cats and 2 kittens, that's 5 cloths to rub the scents. And then you want to swap them over, so you want the adult cat cloths to go in with the kittens and the kitten cloths to go in with the adults. Now what I would say is avoid the temptation of going up to the cat and be like, hey, look at this cloth, it's so exciting, it smells of another cat, because that can be quite intimidating for that cat or even the kittens too. What you want to do with cats in general is always give them choice. So pop it in the middle of the room and just ignore it, just leave it, and allow the cats to come up and sniff it. And if they sniff it and they're like, and carry on, great. That's a good sign. They're very unlikely to go up to it and start rolling around and purring and having the best time ever. Cats are much more subtle than that. So equally, if the cats start avoiding going around the edges of the room to avoid that cloth, then again, it's probably a sign it's not going very well. I need to do the scent swapping stage for much, much longer. I could talk about this all day, and we've got more questions coming in. So do check out our YouTube channel for the rest of the advice on introducing cats to other cats. Okay, let's have a little look at our questions. Okay, we've got Liz saying hi. Hi Liz, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. I'm worried about how my cat will cope when we return to work, because no doubt he's gotten used to us all being around 24/7. How can I combat the loneliness he might feel when he goes back to having the house all by himself for several hours? So this is a really important question, and particularly because it seems like a lot of people's cats on here are enjoying having their owners home. It is worth definitely thinking about this in advance. So try and keep their routines as similar as possible. Make sure they've got that sanctuary room or their sort of retreat room where they can go and have quiet time to be away. So do try to factor in times throughout the day when they're not just having fuss all the time, and equally having times when you're unavailable too. So even if you're not working from home at the moment, and therefore the temptation is to stroke the cat all day, do try and have periods where you're busy doing something else and you're not with your cat. So having yourself in a separate room, go read a book, or just having that separation. If you are able to leave the house for exercise, then keeping that up so that it's during the times in which you would ordinarily have been at work, to go for a walk then. And then in terms of how that's going to cope, it's about trying to gradually ease them back into that change of routine again. So keeping things as similar as possible where you can, but then also when it comes going back to work, if you can go back to work gradually, great. But if you can't, introducing your cat now to feeding enrichment so that the cat can set up, get used to things like these egg boxes, etc. And then, have that a bit more independence from you so they can get food for themselves and be less reliant on you for attention. If your cat's got outdoor access, potentially they're going to go back to going around all the neighbours' houses again for attention, because as much as we think our cats do that, I think a lot of cats out there are. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. My daughter watches kitten videos on YouTube as we're getting a kitten after lockdown, as we currently have a 2-year-old cat, and she is loving and friendly and always purring. Hates other cats though. There's one in the road and 2 next door. My daughter has the videos on. She headbutts the tablet and makes kitten noises, trying to find the kitten. Are we okay to get a kitten? Okay, so it's good that you've already started collecting information about how your cat may or may not respond. It's also thinking about the local population of cats, because that does make a difference. The main thing is that it depends on the cat's personality, and also factors such as how they, whether they were ever introduced to other cats during their own kitten socialisation period, which is between sort of 2 to 7 or 8 weeks. So how social they would have been at that point, and also how they respond to other cats. So the fact they're not responding to other cats, it could go either way at this point. That said, it sounds like quite positive behaviour that you're witnessing with seeing the noises coming from your cat in particular, with the kitten on screen. The main thing would be to get kittens that are quite relatively confident and well socialised, particularly to other cats, in terms of, even if it's like just the sound of other cats, the scent of other cats that are healthy and friendly and vaccinated. Obviously do check out our wonderful cats protection branches and adoption centres when you're thinking about getting kittens after lockdown, and they'll be able to provide you with specific advice about the cats they have in their care, because they'll know them best. But yes, those that have had that sort of socialisation are much more likely to be able to adapt. And then it's a case of making sure you set up the sanctuary room, like I've mentioned to a previous person, and having a really slow, gradual introduction for those for the kittens and your existing cat. In particular, you want to make it at the pace that your resident cat, your existing cat, can cope with. And making sure that scent transfer stage really does take a long time. Scent does wane after time, so you want to top up these scented cloths sort of once or twice a day, every day, probably for a few weeks, until the cat seems absolutely fine about it. So, and then the other thing about thinking about resource placement within the home, and you can do this now during lockdown, about thinking, right, where's the kitten's room going to be? Have I got enough resources for everybody? Are they going to be spaced out carefully so that they, your existing cat can avoid the kittens where possible, and vice versa? So just thinking about how it's all going to work. And ideally, when it comes to introducing, when it eventually gets to the point of face-to-face, thinking about having a few people involved where possible. So you've got people to help the kittens and people to help your resident cat too. But yeah, wishing you all the best of luck though, and do check out our website, because we have much more information on there too. Ruth says, hi. Hello Ruth. We've got 3 cats protection cats. Thank you for adopting from us. Can overeating cause vomiting? It can cause regurgitation, which is pretty much where the biscuits or wet food or whatever looks pretty much as it went down, comes straight back up again. And generally that's if they've eaten too quickly and the stomach's not had time to send messages up to the brain to say that it's full, and then it can't cope and they come back up again. So that's where something like this can be really useful to help slow the cat's eating down. However, if your cat's vomiting, if they've been vomiting for more than a few days and you're concerned, or it doesn't look like regurgitation, definitely speak to your vet on the phone and get their advice from there. So someone is saying, I think you're getting a grooming mitt for their cat. Are they effective? Grooming mitts are really good as a way of introducing your cat to grooming, particularly if they've never had it before. and they like being stroked, if they find stroking pleasurable. So it's good because it's not too far a jump for them. And certainly it's something I would advise doing, definitely. When you're introducing, we have got videos on our YouTube channel about how to introduce grooming, but here's one I prepared earlier. It's not a grooming mitt, but it is another grooming tool that's quite sort of gentle for them. Would be simply just to have, oh, where's my camera? Have the tool, again, on the floor or on a surface nearby the cat. Allow them the choice to come forward and choose to sniff it and interact with it. And that's when you can give them a treat for coming forward and just investigating the brush or the grooming mitt. And then you can just build up super, super gradually. This is actually really useful for anybody at the moment. It's quite a good period of time that we're spending more time at home. So we can use it to do positive things like getting them used to grooming or getting them used to cat baskets and things like that. So once you've done that, and their cat's quite happy coming up and just having a sniff, you can just actually then start to hold it up like this and allow the cat to investigate it. Maybe they might just rub their cheek against it like that. And then again, giving the cat a treat to reinforce and reward the cat so that they associate this with something positive. Obviously, with all treats, we want to make sure that we're taking it out of the cat's daily allowance of food so that they're not gaining weight unnecessarily. And again, if you've got any concerns, do speak to your vet. But yeah, so grooming mitts are great, and other grooming tools are good as well. It depends on your individual cat's coat, if they're long-haired, short-haired, for example, as well as where they like being touched on their bodies. So building it up gradually. Most cats quite like being touched on their their cheeks and the head area. So sometimes it's a case of just building up slowly just on the head, waiting for the cat to be really comfortable with this over multiple sessions. You want to do short and sweet little sessions. So even just 5 minutes and then leaving it. And definitely finish sessions before the cat's had enough. So even if the cat's enjoying it, that's great. Always end on a high. So I hope that helps. Oh, Miranda says, love you, CP. We love you too. Right. Oh, someone's saying that they recommend the Furminator tool. Yeah, the Furminator is really good. There's quite a few good tools out there, but that's one of them, and they are really useful. Does Kato ever jump on me like Kato from Pink Panther films? Particularly when he was a kitten, yes, all the time. And a lot of the things that people experience, like the nighttime waking, I experienced that, jumping on the bed at night. Thankfully nowadays he's now 6 years old, so he's calmed down quite a bit. And thankfully he's a lot more relaxed. Right, so somebody's saying they've got 2 cats and a rescue dog 2 months ago. One of the cats now spends all the time at the top of the cat tree, only coming down for his meals. How do I get him to spend more time on the floor and to get to know the dog? So again, this is a common situation, whether it's with a cat or another cat or with a dog in the household, and people wanting to come together. Actually, what I'd say is make sure that they've actually got the opportunity to be away from your dog. It may sound counterintuitive to you because you desperately want them to be together, but if you can actually make your cats feel so relaxed and secure, they're much more likely to be in a place where they're comfortable being around your dog, and also in a place where they can learn more about your dog. So set up that sanctuary room like I've suggested for other people. It's great that you've got a cat tree, that's amazing. If you can get any more high places within the home, brilliant. By all means buy more cat trees, but equally you can just clear a windowsill, a shelf and a bookcase, making sure all these high up places are accessible for the cat, so they can get up and back down again easily on top of wardrobes, because the cats will feel much safer higher up, which is why your cat's doing it at the moment, and that's where your cat will be wanting to suss your dog out from. So making sure they've got those things, and making sure that with the sanctuary room is not accessible to your dog. So baby gates, for example, I don't know the breed of your dog, but that they can be really useful. So the cat knows they've always got somewhere safe that they can go to and retreat. And then from there, you want to do really gradual introduction to your dog. We do have a video specifically for how to introduce cats to dogs on our YouTube channel, so please check that out. And in the meantime, spend a lot of time working with your rescue dog and training your dog to know like a sit, a down, stay, and how to be calm. So you might want to give them something like a stuffed Kong, something that keeps them busy and occupied on the floor, and particularly in that down position, because that would be a lot less threatening for your cat as well. And where they're busy with a Kong or something like that, another toy, that means they're not going to be sort of sat there staring at your cat. So again, a lot less threatening. So, but like I say, there's lots of information we can give on that. But check out our information on our Facebook, our YouTube channel, and most importantly, our website for more advice. Okay, someone's saying, I don't know if this is normal, but their cat is obsessed with cuddling up to their rabbit. Don't know if this is normal. Also, she likes to play football and fetch. Football and fetch, amazing. Keep doing that. With regards to the cat cuddling up to the rabbit, whilst your cat might be enjoying this interaction, pay close attention to your rabbit as to whether your rabbit's enjoying this interaction, because it's very important that within any interactions, it's going well both ways. Because rabbits are a prey species, pretty much everything out there wants to kill a rabbit, and so therefore they are naturally designed to be, vigilant and scared of anything that might potentially harm them. So do watch out for that. There'll be a lot of information on the Rabbit Welfare Association's website, so do check their information, because that'll be really good in terms of rabbit body language. But because cats are subtle, but rabbits are a whole new level of subtle. Because you're looking for things like tightening around the lips and the mouth area. Sometimes if they have their ears back down and they're sort of in a really, really flattened position, looking at their breathing rate, because if rabbits breathe very fast, but if they breathe more, much faster than usual, this could be a sign that the rabbit's feeling stressed. So we do want to make sure the rabbit's happy about this too. And also always bear in mind that cats are predators. So even if it's mutual and they seem to get along, always make sure that the cat and the rabbit are supervised and not left alone at any point. And the rabbit has places that they can get away from the cat, places that they can hide. Rabbits also like to be up high as well, so they can feel safe. And these areas need to be accessible. But yes, it is quite unusual, but it is possible. Just looking through some of yours. Someone's saying their cat loves boxes. They all love boxes. Cats love boxes. Let's give all our cats on lockdown some boxes. Okay, someone's got an indoor kitty. Find really friendly lap cat around people who live in the flat, but basically not happy if anyone else comes in, tries to attack. What can we do to help? Tried fell away, and they feel like it doesn't make much difference. So with aggressive behaviour, there's so many different underlying causes, and the first and foremost thing would be to chat to your vet on the phone and take their advice, because there are lots of medical reasons that can cause aggressive behaviour, the most common being pain. And then bear in mind that there's loads of different medical conditions that can cause pain, and cats are masters at hiding signs of pain. You'd never know. I mean, for example, it's very rare to see a cat limping, for example. They do hide it. They don't show much in the way of on their faces. That's my cat jumping on the table again, coming to investigate all my little egg boxes and things. So yeah, they do hide pain. It's really difficult. So we want to make sure that there's nothing medically going on with your cat. And then if it's behavioural, I would suggest that you contact a qualified behaviourist from the Association of Pet Behaviour Counsellors or the Animal Behaviour and Training Council websites. Many of them are doing online consults at the moment, and ordinarily once the lockdown's over, they'll also be offering like face-to-face consultations often in your home. So do get in contact with a qualified behaviourist. In the meantime, there won't be anybody else coming into your home during lockdown, which is, I guess, a saving grace for a cat that's not coping with strangers. And it's good that she's happy with people that she currently lives with. That's really good. So in the meantime, I think just try and create some consistency in her routine, making sure that her home has all the setup that she needs, so that when you do go see the behaviourist or you have an online consult, that you're as geared up as possible. In the meantime, start keeping a diary, or even just a reflective one about how she has been in the past. This could be really helpful when you're speaking to both vets and behaviourists, to give them that really important clinical history about, and it can give them those clues as to what could be going on for them, because there's lots of medical reasons and a lot of different behavioural reasons as well. So we want to, right, that's my cat trying to drink my water. He hasn't though, by the way, because I've taken it. So keeping a diary, getting lots of resources, making sure they're all spaced out around the home, introducing your cat to some feeding enrichment, interactive play is always really helpful. The Felloway is really useful. For those that haven't heard of Felloway, this is often what it looks like. You can get a diffuser like this, or you can get a spray. The diffusers are really useful because you can plug them in and then leave them for 4 weeks continuously. But they are not a cure, if you like. They're very much part and parcel of a behavioural programme. So it's very important that you use these in conjunction with qualified behavioural advice in order for it to be at its most effective. Same for any advice, really. It's not usually just one thing that helps a cat. It's a combination of a bit of everything, including making sure that there's no medical problems. Okay, so I hope that helps. And by all means, like I say, do speak to those relevant experts. Okay, well, someone's got 3 cats and they all have breakfast between 6 and 7 a.m, dinner around 4:30 and supper at 9:30, all wet food, half a pouch each time, plus there's dry food available for them all day. The male cat is extremely greedy and we have to lock him into another room to eat. That's fine. As soon as he's finished, he'll start, he runs to finish off what the others have left behind. Spoken to the vet about it several times. She laughs and says that he's a grubber. He's almost 7 kilos. I'm rather worried about him. The other 2 are they're 4 kilos and 3 kilos. Right, when it comes to weighting cats, first and foremost, it's really good that you've taken your cat to the vets, because again, that's the sort of thing we would recommend, making sure there's nothing wrong, and your vet can help advise as to whether your cat's overweight or not. At 7 kilograms, whilst that is more than the average cat would weigh, because the average cat is about sort of 4 kilograms, it very much depends on the individual cat and their frame. So this is why body condition scoring is really useful. You can find the information about this online. So if you type in body condition scoring, we'll also have some information about this on our website. But this is actually looking at the sort of shape of the cat's figure, if you like, and also fat distribution across their body. So it's really useful to see if the cat still has a waist. Because Cato, as some of you have now seen in the slide, he's actually 7 kilograms, but he's a very large cat. So he's not actually overweight, but if he had a very petite little frame, then he certainly would need to go on a diet. So it's important for your individual cat to know. And again, this is the sort of thing I think it's good that you've spoken to your vets. By all means, it's good to think about their food intake. And you can also chat to the vet practice staff on the phone about considering other types of diets. So, for example, a satiety diet may be something they might suggest, whereby it allows the cat to feel full, but without providing those extra calories. And then you could separate this food out into multiple small meals throughout the day. It's good that they do have dry food down all day, but it might be a case of sort of giving him specific little feed enrichment stations throughout the day, trying to give him that mental stimulation side of it as well. And hopefully that will give him a bit more of a mental buzz as well as the physical side of it too. It's really good that you're keeping him separate from the other cats, because not only will that help stop him from eating all of his food. Oh, and do think about something along these lines where it will help to slow him down when it comes to eating. Even for wet food, you can actually home make one. So, for example, if you've got a cardboard box, and some clean yogurt pots, cut a hole in the box and put the yogurt pots in. You can then put wet food in those yogurt pots, and the cat will have to like pour it out and eat it. We've got examples again on how to make these online, so do have a look. But yeah, having them separated from your other cats will also reduce the stress levels of your other cats too. And as long as your other cats are having long enough to finish their food and they're not feeling the need to really gulp it down, do watch that too. It can be quite useful to create little short videos of your cats eating. One, so that you can see over time how they respond, because the subtleties can change. And it's a bit like a video diary. So again, this would be useful to show vets and behaviourists if you're concerned. Okay, someone's saying that their cat chose them. She was left in the street by their owners in a moonlight flit. Had her for 2 years now. She loves playing with me in the garden, playing at a fetch ball, which is very sweet. She was quite close to me whilst we're in isolation, which is 35 days. It's a long time, isn't it? Love her to bits, and she's just starting to sleep on your knee. That's lovely. Oh, actually, whilst we're chatting about cats being asleep on the knee, because, again, I think this would be a common situation that many of us will be finding now. While some cats absolutely love it, it's one of those things where, a bit of fuss, it's easy to get distracted and forget that the cat's nodded off. Some cats can easily startle when they've fallen asleep and then they suddenly feel the hand on them, and it can take them a while to register what's really going on. In these situations, some cats can actually sort of wake with a start and then might even bite, which then to the owner seems really obscure because the cat came up, they wanted a fuss, they've been purring whilst having a fuss, but it's often because they've nodded off and then the cat's suddenly like, oh, what's going on? Something's touching me, and then they just react. So carefully monitor your cats. If they give them a short stroke on the head and if they're starting to nod off, just leave them to it. Just enjoy having the cat on your lap. Okay, let's have a look, see how we're getting on. Danielle says hello. Hi Danielle, how you doing? Okay, we have lots and lots of questions. Hi Lindsay! Got lots of people saying hello. Right, we have an awful lot of comments, which is fantastic, but rest assured we will be getting through and answering your questions online, the ones that I haven't managed to answer live. So don't worry. And also, as I said before, do check out our website. We will give you the links. Do look at our YouTube channel. In particular, look at our videos. Someone mentioned at the beginning that they were looking forward to seeing Beryl, who's so not with us at the moment. So do look at the videos we've created with an animated cat. Lots and lots of fun there. And also one thing to let you know about is the education team will be doing their Facebook Live next Thursday. So look out for announcements about that. They'll be giving an education talk as well as a live crafty interactive session too. Do look out for the free Moggy modules for those of you that have got children, and particularly that are homeschooling children at the moment, because they are a fantastic resource looking at cats' needs and how we can engage our children to understand what cats really want. And again, just before I sign off, I just want to give out a really big shout out to our wonderful staff and volunteers. They really have gone above and beyond at this time. It's very difficult for everybody, but please don't forget that they are very busy behind the scenes caring for all of our cats right now. So please support them however you can. So whether that's for those of you that are thinking of adopting a cat post-lockdown, brilliant, please do. Many of our branches and adoption centres have their own Amazon wish lists, and Amazon are still delivering right now. So please do look at these for ideas on what we can, what you can do to buy for the cats in our care at the moment to help keep them occupied whilst they're in lockdown too. And then there's also all sorts of different things we can do in terms of, you could have your own fundraiser on Facebook, for example. You could donate on this Facebook Live if the advice has been helpful. Oh, and also you can get your craft on as well. So not only sort of creating things for your cat, which the education team will be doing, but maybe take up knitting if you've not done this before. And we, knit blankets for the cats. We've got knitting patterns for catnip mice as well. Lots of different ways in which you can get involved to come and help us and help the cats. Okay, so thank you everybody for attending today. And it's been great having all the interaction. I've loved answering your questions and hope to speak to you all soon. Okay, take care everyone. Bye. And bye from Cato too.